up the top stars from Hollywood and from all over the world to entertain you on a giant screen with the few colorful motion pictures you've been hearing about and reading
It's
about.
showtime, folks. Enjoy the show.
We're delighted to have you with us. The Drive-in Theater.
You'll find something to please you to add to your evening's enjoyment.
Is pleased to bring you our feature presentation.
Hello. What? Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the Drive-in Speakerbox, your source for movie news, reviews, just banter and fun things.
Definitely a lot of the banter.
Well, especially in the past year. But anyway, I'm your host, Bo, the boom operator.
I'm Jake the Grip.
And we got a show for you tonight. We're going to be talking to you about movies. And if you guys are listening on the podcast over wherever you get your podcast, make sure to check us out on the live stream sometime. It's a lot of fun. You can check us out over on Facebook, Twitch, or YouTube. Just search for the Drive-in Speakerbox. There is a hyphen in there, like drive-in. Yeah, hyphen, that's how you spell it. Some people don't know. Some people just... they just don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who don't know how to spell anything anymore.
And as one of our viewers, Sam, mentioned last week, that your smart speaker can play it if you yell at it, but you have to be very specific. You have to say... Google or Alexis or Cortana or whoever your computer is, you have to say, play the Drive-in Speakerbox podcast.
You just did the granny thing and gave all of them an identity crisis.
I just gave them Alexin? Is that your name?
You know where your granny yells every name except yours at you?
She just like goes through every child that her entire lineage has ever produced, and before she gets to your name, like my grandmother does that too. She'll be like, Bo, and I'm like, okay, yeah, it's me. Hey, I'm Nana. And she's like, I know. And even like her little nicknames, like because there's Doodlebug, Pumpkin, and Tadpole, and then she'll get those mixed up too because I'm like, I'm not Pumpkin, I'm Doodlebug. No, I'm not Doodlebug, I'm Tadpole. Whatever. But old people stuff, right? Well, anyway.
Old people stuff. So, anyway, let's talk about some news. There's been a week in news. We actually, I didn't get to see a movie in the theater this week. Did you? I mean, there was really I didn't
nothing...
watch one in the theater, but I did watch a new movie.
Oh, really?
I watched the Paramount Plus original Infinite.
Yeah. And how was that?
Well, I guess we'll get to
We're
it.
going to find out
we'll
later.
Talk about it a little bit.
So yeah, not having anything in the chat right now. I'm wondering if the chat is working. So I'm gonna give that a test. But you got some news items.
Yeah, hey, there's a bunch of news that all happened in like the last 48 hours. One thing that's particular to you and I, and the things that we're interested in, is that Kiss had a movie release this weekend, twice. They did
You wanted the best movies, you got them.
Well, they did an airing of the first half of their
which I still haven't gotten my DVD for the
concert,
Dubai.
the Dubai concert. They did an airing of the first half of their documentary that's coming out on A&E here in like 2 or 3 weeks. So they aired the first half of it, the first hour and a half of the 3-hour documentary at a park, and then they later showed it at Tribeca. After which they did a concert, full makeup, full everything. They did Detroit Rock City, Shout It Out Loud, War Machine, Heaven's on Fire, and then Rock and Roll All Night.
Of course. Why? You know what? I challenge you, Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley, to play a show. Play a show somewhere and don't play Rock and Roll All Night. Just do it. I double dog dare you.
Vince asked if I'm subbing to Paramount Plus or writing the free trial. I will talk about that in the review when we get to it too, since I did sign up for this movie.
You got Paramount Plus?
Yeah, how else do I watch a Paramount Plus movie, guy?
I don't know. Ways.
Exactly.
I have a set of skills.
So anyhow, that is super cool that Kiss is out there making it happen, and they're helping to open things back up or whatever. Someone in the chat did mention that as of yesterday as well, Ned Beatty passed away.
Yeah, Ned Beatty. Everybody remembers Ned Beatty from Deliverance.
Well, that was
I
his
think
first.
that was the big breakout.
That was his first role in a movie.
But I mean, he was acting in a lot of stuff all the way up to the end of his career. I mean,
He was in Superman.
he was in Rudy.
He was in.
I'm trying to remember other stuff. He's been in so many things.
The 1990 Captain America.
What?
Yeah.
No, he wasn't.
He was.
Was he in that?
Yeah.
I mean, he was in a lot of stuff in the 90s that, he was another one of those guys that was just, you always saw him and you're like, that guy. Yeah, that guy. But he was never like a big lead role. I mean, he was in Toy Story 3, I think, as a voice. He was
I think he was only in the video game version.
he was in Toy Story 3. He was Lotso.
No, I think Kelsey Grammer was Lotso in the movie.
I'm looking at his IMDb right here, bro. Look at that.
Oh,
Lotso.
all right. Well, how about that?
And yeah, he was just. I mean, Ned Beatty was that guy, the guy with the jowls,
the bad guys in The Shooter. Since we're talking about
the Shooter.
Marky Mark,
yeah, he just had those evil jowls. Well, Ned Beatty, 1937 to 2021. You're gonna squeal like a piggy in heaven, I guess.
No, dude.
Is that what? I don't know. I mean,
No.
that's the line. That's the line that everybody remembers from Deliverance. Do you have another quotable line from a Ned Beatty movie that you can add to the party?
That's not appropriate.
Well, then deal with it. But yeah, sad times when we lose.
Oh yeah, Vince pointed out he was John Goodman's dad on a Roseanne in its original airing.
I don't remember. I mean,
Yeah.
the only time I ever watched Roseanne, or mainly any network television, was around Halloween when they'd have the Halloween episodes. Because Roseanne always had really good Halloween episodes, and like so did Home Improvement. Didn't watch a lot of Home Improvement until it was like the Halloween episode time. And
Where were you in the 90s?
I don't know.
It's like the two biggest shows on television.
I was like riding bicycles and like catching crawfish in the bayou because I lived in Louisiana, and I was, I don't know. And then I moved up here, and it was just like I was doing kid stuff. I was watching cartoons. I wasn't watching Roseanne. Like that show was inappropriate. I guess I don't know, and boring. Even now I'm just like, God, who watched this stuff? Ugh. I just don't like network. I don't like sitcoms, man. I'm not a. Everybody's like, you watch How You Met Your Mother. You watch Always Sunny in Philadelphia. You watch Arrested Development. And I'm just
Hey,
like,
have
no,
you
I
seen
don't
that most popular thing in the world that everyone watches and can talk about?
I'm like,
Not
no.
me, dude.
I'm like,
Screw
I
that.
watch movies, bro. And they're like, oh, but The Office is so funny. And I'm like, I mean, yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Well, then talking about things that you're going to hate, did you see that Netflix decided that they announced there's a 7-episode series written and starring Mike Myers as
Isn't that the
like
So I
7
Married an
different-
Axe Murderer spinoff?
No, I don't
I
think so.
thought I read something about
No,
it. So
it's called
yeah.
The Pentaverate, and he plays 7 characters, and it's a Netflix series about like a Illuminati something or another. So he plays all these different people.
So I do love the idea of Mike Myers. I mean, Mike Myers had a place in the sun, and much like Icarus, he flew a little too close. And you have that 90s Mike Myers where he shaped a generation's comedy with characters like Austin Powers, who's completely inappropriate now, and Wayne from Wayne's World, who is timeless.
The notion of Austin Powers was that he was not okay then either, because he was a guy from the 60s brought to the 90s,
right?
And he was not okay.
But the comedy was still inappropriate, even though you knew he was being inappropriate. But now you can't do any of that stuff. I mean, have you revisited Austin Powers recently?
Like how recently?
I don't know, in the past year.
I don't know. I mean, I can see things for when they were made, and if it's absurdist comedy, to just accept it as absurdism.
But then I think what was the movie that really was the coffin nail for Mike Myers? I want to say was The Love Guru, and it was just total. Not only was it terrible, but it didn't make any money.
But it had Justin Timberlake.
It did. But
You
know,
put the
shtick-
ketchup on the Pop-Tart, like the pizza.
like the pizza. But that movie really sort of marked the end of an era because you had guys like Eddie Murphy, you had guys like Mike Myers that were doing a lot of this physical comedy, playing a lot of different characters, doing a lot of this kind of slapstick, multi-character stuff, and it kind of lost an audience. And, Mike Myers was the face of that, and, thank God for Shrek, I guess. And, but again, apparently Mike Myers is pretty hard to work with, as Vince mentioned in the comments. But, it's weird to see like things like Jiminy Glick start to come popular again. And I don't know if that show's still airing, but,
No.
Well, I mean, he had several seasons of that show.
What?
And didn't he? Jiminy Glick,
I think
there was another spinoff
there
or
was
something.
2.5, and they tried to bring it back for like a different show 5 or 7 years later.
And
Martin Short's hilarious. So
and then didn't Mike Myers actually try to do another variety show where he was?
yeah,
in
we
costume?
talked about it on the show, which
Yeah.
had nothing to do with Jiminy Glick because Jiminy Glick was Martin Short.
Right, I know,
But Mike
but
Myers.
We're talking costume guys where they're like,
he hosted a game show.
That's
as a
right.
British dude in. Yeah, that was like 2 years ago.
yeah, and it clearly went really well.
Well, it happened right when everything's shut down.
But Mike Myers, man, I don't know, like, So I Married an Axe Murderer, going back to the
Talking about
spinoff.
inappropriate.
I
Friggin'
love
Johnny in here.
it, So I Married an Axe Murderer. That is the Mike Myers sleeper movie that everybody needs to see because it checks all the boxes where he's still got costumed characters that he's doing, but it's that subtle burn comedy that
Still get your Scottish character.
you have to. It's Mike Myers. Someone's gonna eat the baby or whatever. He became Russian or something.
Nailed it.
I don't know why I became Arnold Schwarzenegger or something there for a second. But get in my belly.
Just do every accent.
It's
as
always Arnold.
Schwarzenegger.
Look at me, I'm from Australia. Je m'appelle Arnold. I'm from Paris.
Yeah, perfect.
Sprechen Sie Deutsch?
Well, that one, that's
I
the
guess
correct
that makes,
one.
Yeah, that makes sense. What would Viva la Revolution?
Let's just right back to France again.
Well, that's the funniest one.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't know how I feel about Mike Myers anymore. I don't know. What's the phrase? Let sleeping dogs take naps or something, or I don't know what it is.
He has he's some other projects in the works right now too, but that's the one that's been announced and is out there, and it's him doing his character thing that everyone likes. But also on Netflix, apparently this month, a new Bishoujo Senshi Sailor Moon came out on Netflix, and nobody told me.
Sorry, man. I didn't know
You're the resident weeb, dog. You're supposed to know about these
I didn't know
things.
you were really into these Sailor Moons.
Bruh, have you ever watched Sailor Moon?
No.
Oh, wow. You're
can't
missing
say that
out.
I've ever-
Sailor Moon is sick. Everyone knows this. Big facts. But coming out soon. What are you doing looking over there? There's a new...
I just want everybody at home to take a moment to let the sentence that just came out of Jake's mouth really resonate. Mr. I'm not a weeb, Jake, where he, quote, Sailor Moon is sick, dude.
Sailor Moon is sick, dude.
End quote. All right.
Dude, I'll fight
In other
someone over
news.
that. But there's a new Godzilla CGI movie coming out for Netflix. There is a new Liam Neeson movie, The Ice Road, coming out this month.
Does he have a set of ice skills?
Yeah, he's an Ice Road trucker, is what it is. And then later this week, the new
Mr.
Kevin
Plow,
Hart movie.
that's my
I know
name,
you
that
can't
name
wait.
again is
The
Mr.
new
Plow.
Kevin Hart
Kevin Hart.
Fatherhood comes out on Netflix as well. So.
Is he partnered up with another big person that he can scream at really loud?
Isn't everyone like a big person?
Well, he was in that one movie where it was just a remake of a French movie of the exact same plot, where it was this guy in a wheelchair and he comes take care of him. And that Kevin Hart actually did a pretty good job in that movie. Although the French version of that movie is better. Kevin Hart's performance. Je m'appelle Arnold.
Yeah.
Je m'appelle Kevin Hart. But he showed that he had some acting chops in that movie, and I wish that he would kind of get away from these comedy bits because it's like,
Hold on. I was this comedian would just get away from comedy. Jeez.
Well, because it's
Can't
like the
believe it.
same dumbass jokes every time with Kevin Hart. He's like, I'm short. I'm short. I'm tiny. And it's like,
Yeah, and look at where he is in life, and look at where we are.
I know. And that just, if that isn't the whole reason to drink bleach, then I don't know what is. Like, good Lord, if that's what it takes to get ahead in life.
Well, I got great news for you, too. One of your other favorite actors, swallow first.
Oh, you're trying to get a spit take?
No, I was trying not to. I don't want it on the equipment. Gerard Butler, it was announced today, Greenland is getting a sequel. I know you didn't watch it, but I did. It wasn't bad, but it's getting
Why
a
no
sequel.
Geostorm sequel? If we're
Dude.
gonna sequel some Gerard Butler trash, give me the Geostorm, because that was fun.
Yeah, well,
I had a good time in the theater.
that's probably the worst movie, but that's why we liked it.
I would never recommend watching it at home, but man, if you have a chance to see it in a theater, chef's kiss.
But Greenland Migration was announced. See, I told you not to, dude.
I didn't know the name was going to be even more stupid than the first name.
Yeah, it's like Ice Age, which is what it is. It's nuclear fallout. It's an Ice Age world because the
pretty soon it's
meteors
going to be
smack down.
Gerard Butler in Pangea Migration. And what's
Maybe
what's
so.
the other land bridge that was in between Alaska and Russia?
The Bering
There was like the land bridge.
Yeah, the Bering Land Bridge.
There's going to be a new Gerard Butler about him walking across the land bridge. I don't know. This is
Well,
stupid.
so one
crap.
thing about Greenland is that when it opened, it was #1 movie in over 26 countries, right? And when it hit VOD, it was the #1 premium rental in both Apple and Google stores. So Greenland did pretty good for itself at the theater, especially in a time when it came out. It was one of the first movies when theaters opened again. Like it was one of the very first ones back, and it actually got like a decent response, better than a lot of the movies that followed
Yeah,
it.
sometimes when you open the fridge and there's only one kind of beer, you're going to drink that beer.
Yeah, but including movies that followed it too is what I'm saying. You
Okay.
know, so it ended up being not a bad intake at the box office for them. So it's getting a sequel. But talking about things,
I like how Vince coming in with the dad jokes. Gerard Butler stars in the Gerard Did It. And then Vern over on Facebook, I hope your comment is false, but he says, I heard Kevin Hart's going to be Static Shock. He'll play the teen version, and The Rock will play the adult version.
dude, I would watch this
Oh,
movie.
I know you would.
Dude, The Rock is static, but he can't be static because he's being Black Adam. So
Yeah.
you can't have two DC guys played by the same person.
Unless you're
The Rock, yeah, why
no,
not?
well, didn't who was no? Okay, never mind. It was DC then Marvel because there was Deadpool and then Green Lantern, so that was DC and Marvel, and then it was Captain America. The guy that played Captain America also played the Human Torch in the Fantastic Four, so he doubled up.
And he was in Push, which was actually a like Wildstorm comic, which is a DC property.
Okay,
And then he was in The Losers, which was
that's another
I think it's owned by DC somewhere on there. So
comic book.
yeah, how about that?
Yeah.
But
Chris Evans.
talking about movies not doing so hot at the box office.
Oh yeah, where's Dina? Is Dina in the comments
Yeah, we need
tonight?
Dina here.
Where's our resident musical fanatic and box office ticker tracker extraordinaire? Yeah, in the Heights.
Her movie she was super hyped about In the Heights. In the lows.
Yeah, the Heights. We're not talking about the box office. Like, Warner Brothers is getting very concerned. Even though, so I'm gonna take a step back because and I'm actually gonna defend this movie, which I'm not a big musicals guy, but we're coming out of a pandemic. We have, I love how HBO Max is over here going, hey dude, it's not streaming, man. Trust me, it doesn't have anything to do with streaming. People are gonna watch it at home. They're gonna watch it at theaters. It has nothing to do with streaming. Don't look at streaming. We're not taking away from box office. Leave us alone. We're gonna play every movie at the same time they're in theaters. But musicals are also a really hard sell. And this is something that bothers me because Warner Brothers, I read in the article, the other day they were talking about how Warner Brothers is like, well, apparently the only movies that are making money right now are sequels to really big properties. So maybe that's all we need to do forever, I guess. Because people coming out of the pandemic, you got Godzilla, you got Mortal Kombat, you got,
Mortal Kombat was no sequel.
It was based on a very established property. It was a reboot.
Sure, but it wasn't a sequel.
And you've got these movies that they're looking at, like The Conjuring, but of course that's a horror movie, so it almost doesn't even count. Quiet Place 2. These are making the money, and then they've got this that has a very rabid fan base, but not a lot of market penetration. And that small fan base wasn't really enough to translate into opening ticket sales. It only did 11.4 at the box office. It didn't even beat A Quiet Place, so it opened up at number 2.
And now you mentioning that HBO is pointing out that it's not streaming's fault. People aren't doing it. In the case of this movie, that's true. It also did not perform at home either. Nobody watched it on HBO. It got less viewers than
Did they release that data? Because I know HBO's pretty...
Insiders.
Okay,
yeah, because they don't like to...
Under lock and key.
But it got less viewers than Tom and Jerry. And Warner Brothers is not hyped on it. Now, I read 2 or 3 articles about this so I could get some different views.
But critics are
on
saying
this.
it's fantastic. Critics are saying it's really good.
Sure, but how many movies have critics been like, this movie rules, and nobody likes that movie? And the only 10 people that ever watched it was the panel for the Academy.
True.
Okay.
But it could be one of those things like Parasite, where all the critics are like, you got to see this movie. And then dinglings like us are like, you got to go see this movie. And everybody's like, oh, I don't want to see this movie. I don't want to read words. Foreign films don't have a lot of penetration, as Vince says, and except for Jake's. Anyway, but then there's like this burn that happens, kind of like what was it, the Greatest Showman that we were talking about earlier off camera. That give it a second before you make your decision.
Sure, and the articles I read pointed out specifically The Greatest Showman, since it's the most recent one in memory to turn around and be a success, unlike Cats was unable to do. And
Cats.
The Greatest Showman had star power to it. It had a character that people knew the name of. Everyone knows P.T. Barnum. Everyone knows The Circus.
Everybody knows Wolverine.
Everyone knows Hugh Jackman. It's easy for that to snowball into some money. This one not so much. The articles, everything that I was getting into, people were like, well, it doesn't help that the trailers are nonsensical because the entire plot of the movie is moved forward only in song, and that's hard to make a trailer of. So the way that they marketed this was that it was an event. You have to go see it. If you like Hamilton or Lin-Manuel, you just have to go see it.
Well,
but it doesn't give you a reason.
It also didn't have that same level of like superstar Broadway smash that, say, Mamma Mia did or Hamilton did, where everybody's like, oh, I know that people in like New York and LA that tell me that things are good and this is like the ultimate smash hit. Oh my gosh. And everybody's been talking about it for so long. Like, honestly, not a lot of people that I talk to even have ever heard of In the Heights.
Right.
It's like it's a musical that's been out there for a while, but you ask anybody, even before Hamilton became on the Disney Plus version, everybody knew Hamilton. Everybody knows Cats. Everybody knows these other musicals that you guys somehow want to watch on TV. People know those names. In the Heights was kind of a fresh new one, and then people like to talk about like Across the Universe. Like, dude, that's the Beatles. Like everybody knows the Beatles, and
or something like if they made a movie of Wicked, I bet people would probably watch that because it spawned books. Or did the book come first and then the musical?
That's
knows?
How it was. It's
book, Broadway.
But it's gotten so big that it doesn't matter.
Right, it doesn't matter. This one, it's like, oh, it's that thing that Lin-Manuel Miranda did before Hamilton, and it won a Tony.
Yeah. So now that Hamilton's so big, they're like, let's get that deep cut.
Right.
And sometimes deep cuts don't always hit.
So more than half of the top 20 theaters for this were in New York because the movie takes place primarily in New York. And then the rest of them were in LA and San Francisco. And none of the rest of the country decided that they really wanted to watch it much,
but we'll see.
Much at all.
Who knows?
So.
Who knows? I mean, I think it could be one of those things that just sleeps a minute, and then as more people talk about it and see it. And
no, I mean,
I don't know. If it didn't make the splash initially on Broadway, then I just don't know.
Later this week, Wednesday or Thursday, we get the Hitman's Bodyguard's wife, or the Hitman's wife's
great.
bodyguard.
I almost saw the preview screening of that.
Think about this: we got Ryan Reynolds, Selma Hayek, and
it's gonna make all the money. Samuel Jackson.
Sam Jackson.
Yeah.
These are people that people like, people that people know. It's gonna be action. You know what you're getting in it. In the Heights, you're like, well, how much of this am I going to have to sit through? I don't even know what this movie's about. And then right after that, we got Fast and Furious coming out. There's too many big blows headed for this movie to just knock it down on its ass and never let it get back up. And plus, we have all these Netflix movies coming out. We have
a lot of Paramount Plus
originals that just hit. Where
we
it's
got
like
Fast and the Furious. I hate even saying it, but we got Fast and the Furious coming out.
Yeah. So you have too many things that are available to draw your attention away from a movie that no one knows what it even is.
I do want to mention Johnny Dalton's comment over on YouTube when we were just talking about Wicked the musical, and he goes, "Wicked? ? A Star Wars musical spinoff? That I would watch." Because let me get a stage adaptation of Yub Nub. I am about that right now. Yub Nub do do do. Bop, yup, nup, don't chiku, abu da, ba. Don't you mark a boo, yup, nup. Like, dude, that song pumps. And then the wood song, with the duka duka duka.
Oh yeah, where they're cooking Han Solo,
cooking him up. Yeah, dude, Wicked the musical. Everybody in the chat right now, and anybody that downloaded the podcast, you've automatically opted into an NDA, and you can't disclose this information because we're writing Wicked the musical, and it's gonna be out of this world.
Wow,
with Kevin Hart as Wicket. Now I would actually approve of this, where he's just running around going, "Oh, Gunda," and like eating sticks and like getting scared of helmets. And
it could be Paplu.
Oh no, he's not going to be Paplu. No, but
he makes the scream. He makes the same scream noise that Paplu makes when he flies off on the speeder bike. Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. Anyway. What else do we have here? Vince saying the more Star Wars eclipses of all entertainment, like the Death Star, makes me like it less and less. Same. And it's funny how we're getting a lot of Episode 1 memes hitting the internet right now, like the Padme,
the Anakin and Padme.
Those are some saucy memes now.
Yeah.
Why did it take so long? What genius put that together?
There was a really good one I saw where someone was Anakin's like, "I'm gonna sell my 240." And she goes, "For $2,000, right, Annie?" And he just stares at her. And
for $2,000.
She's like, "For 10?" Yeah. Pretty funny.
Ooh.
The car market's insane right now. Just
everything's insane right now. What else we got in the news?
Video games. Things that are movie related.
Castlevania, the spin-off sequel with Richter and Maria. They announced it. That's gonna be pretty cool.
Well, there you go.
I think that's a better storyline
on Castlevania.
Because that leads into Symphony in the Night, dude. Symphony of the Night. You get some real Alucard stories.
Get some eyeball body Dracula.
Oh, yeah.
What is a man?
A miserable pack of lies.
Well, there's also a new Avatar video game coming out. So that's a thing. Frontiers of Pandora.
Oh, God. I was hoping you were saying it like Last Airbender. You're talking James Cameron Avatar?
Yeah. Because, hey, Unreal 5, which is going to change so many things.
Like the video game?
Yeah, no, Unreal Engine.
Oh, the engine.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Unreal 5 engine, which is making it where the way that light can be produced and scattered and the way that objects are rendered in real time, live in front of you, it's going to not just change games, but the way that CG movies and everything are done, and it's going to be sick.
Speaking of other video games and movies and crossovers, there's one that got announced at E3 this week that both Jake and I are not so happy about. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about.
Talking about movies and how they can ruin your life and hurt you.
Mm-hmm. And take away things that you hold dear. But it was also announced this week at E3 that Rare's Sea of Thieves game, which is we both play avidly, which we need to start doing on our Twitch stream a little bit more. But yeah, they have announced a crossover with Pirates of the Caribbean, having the voices of Johnny Depp, and what sounds also
Was that
like
actually him doing the voice?
they haven't said either way. It
so.
sounds pretty close like him, and maybe Jeffrey Rush, unless they got a really good person to do Barbossa. Who's exponentially a better character than Jack Sparrow if you want to like split hairs, and so is Bill Nye's Davy Jones, way cooler than anything Jack Sparrow.
Oh, well, good thing he
do.
shows up too.
I know, they're all in it. They're packing them into a game that already had a pretty cool lore system and story built around it, but it's like, no, let's just throw Disney at it.
A game that they have extensive books and audio books and comic books and lore in the game and mysteries that you solve, and they're like, oh, but what if we just put Pirates of the Caribbean in there because fuck you.
Yeah. Because Disney was like, hey, you know what? We tried to make a pirate game. Nobody liked it. You guys got a pirate game that's already got people that like it. How about it's ours now?
Well, and you know what? They just use the same character models from that Disney 2.0, where you take the action figures and you put them on the base. Infinity, Disney Infinity, yeah. They just took those character models and threw them into that.
Like, come on, dudes.
Yeah. So
Why
that
is that
takes
even
away something that was a lot of fun and brings in a movie series that's dead.
It's funny how
that's been beaten
games
to death.
get turned into movies, but now we've got movies taking over existing games, and it's just like the line is being blurred too much. Get out of my game, Jack Sparrow. Fly away. You don't belong here. Make you a bird and fly far, far away from here. Stupid Jack Sparrow.
Dear God, make Jack Sparrow a bird so he can fly far away from my video games.
But yeah, a lot of stuff getting announced at E3. Netflix, of course, doubling down, doing like the Castlevania show that's been very successful. Season 2 of The Witcher, which is again a video game, actually a book. Was it books then games? The games got more popular than the books, and now that has made the books more popular. Now there's a show, short
stories, and then books, and then a game series, and then
now movies. But Netflix is, The Witcher's, that's coming pretty soon, I think. I want to say, yeah. What else? You got any other news?
I don't know. The E3, the video game stuff kind of eclipsed everything and took over, and
Well, other things that I was going to talk about in sequel news. 1996 film Kingpin, Farrelly Brothers film. What are you talking? Why do you look so surprised?
You said sequel.
Yeah.
Why?
Because money. So the Farrelly Brothers are in talks right now to somehow figure out a way to make a sequel to Kingpin. It's still in a very early stage, but they don't even have script writers. But when has that ever stopped anybody from making a sequel? But you had Woody Harrelson, you had Randy Quaid, you had Bill Murray, Chris Elliott. What is Randy Quaid and Chris Elliott doing these days? I'm pretty sure they would love to do a Kingpin sequel. And Bill Murray, you throw money at him, and he's like, sure, Garfield 3, whatever, dude. He's just going to sign me up. And then when it sucks, he goes, I had no idea they didn't tell me this. Just like the Ghostbusters thing. It's like, Bill Murray, like, I'm on to you, dude.
You know how Bill Murray ended up in Garfield, since we're talking about Kingpin right now. He signed on for it without reading it or anything, because it's the guy that wrote it was named Farrelly or Farley or whatever it was, and he goes, oh, like these guys? Hell yeah, I'll do it. Signed his name, and they're like, sick. But Garfield
was there
now.
Like a sequel clause? Because there's more than one of those.
A lot of the time the studios will trap you into sequel clauses, and people, or just you belong to the studio for X number of films, and they tell you which ones you're going to do. And this happens to a lot of actors. Look it up. It happens all the time. So yeah, according to Bill Murray, that's what happened there. Is that
he always has a convenient excuse for why he was in bad movies.
He signed on thinking it was one of the
he's already
Farrelly brother movies.
He's
like
already
Kingpin.
making excuses for Ghostbusters. He's like, well, I mean, the Ghostbusters, I don't know, they tricked me somehow into being in this one. And because probably when is that movie even coming out? Like, I feel like it's been coming out for 17 years.
It doesn't matter. No one needs it.
No one does need it. As soon as I saw that little trailer with the Stay Puft Mini Marshmallow Man,
Sorry, Paul Rudd.
I was like, yeah, and I like me some Paul Rudd, the immortal Paul Rudd. I like how he's now the immortal one. Like Keanu Reeves, everybody was like, okay, yeah, Keanu Reeves is immortal, but now he's starting to age a little bit. And they're like, nah, dude, it's Paul Rudd. I think I saw something on the internet the other day where it was like, Paul Rudd is now the same age that Wilford Brimley was when Wilford Brimley was in Cocoon.
What about Steve Martin?
Steve Martin is one of those dudes that has been an old guy
timeless.
Forever.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like Walter Matthau was like an old dude forever. He like came out of the womb like wrinkle-faced and angry at the world. And like Steve Martin, I guess, came out of the womb like gray-haired and hilarious, picking and grinning. You ever watch Steve Martin play banjo?
I've seen Steve Martin live. I went to the Steve Martin and Martin Short 2-man show.
Oh, that's right. That's
yeah,
right.
And I took my parents and we went to Kansas City and we had a really, really good time.
He can play the banjo.
He can. Yeah.
He can really play the banjo.
I grew up listening to Steve Martin albums and
listen to him playing the banjo?
Yes, and doing comedy and singing King Tut and all that stuff.
King Tut. I don't think you can do that. That song's probably not appropriate now, right?
I don't know.
Where he's like, Egyptian stereotypes, King Tut. And you can't, yeah, that's probably nothing you can do. Do you know it's the 30th anniversary of Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves this week?
Yeah.
Are we talking about
cultural things.
Old stuff? Like why do we? I guess we did get several sequels. It's Robin Hood. They make sequels to that all the time, right? But dude, man, what a Kevin Costner! What the only Kevin Costner? Like Kevin Costner, what movies is he in that are like not shitty?
Waterworld.
He's the shittiest part about it.
Oh wow, no way. The weird squiggly rapist guy is the worst part about it.
No.
He was in Open Range, which is awesome.
No, I
He's
mean
in
Tin Cup was.
Have you ever seen Open Range?
I can't remember which that was.
It's not a golf movie. It's a
Tin Cup. I said Tin Cup. Tin Cup's a golf movie.
I know. I said Open Range. I'm not talking about the golf range guy.
I guess Dances with Wolves was pretty good.
Yeah, Dances with
I
Wolves.
didn't like Field of Dreams really either because I don't really like baseball. Like I got traumatized by baseball.
Baseball.
I mean, what was it? Mr. Destiny was kind of a movie somewhat about baseball, but not about baseball.
The Postman's not bad.
So was Major League. That was an okay movie about baseball. The Postman, I didn't really like The Postman.
It's not bad.
I just don't like Kevin Costner and like The Bodyguard. Everybody's like, oh, The Bodyguard. I don't like The Bodyguard. I'll always love you. Yeah. Vince coming over here with a hot take on Twitter or Twitch saying Dances with Wolves is not good. It's 3-hour white savior fantasy.
Wow.
Just like Avatar. Yeah, hot takes. And, as Knight Owlishly said, some might say Bodyguard, but popular doesn't mean good. Yeah, I think that's just the subcaption to the show, the Drive-in Speakerbox. Quote, popular doesn't mean good, but according to Worthington's law, more money equals better than. I just can't think of any, like, movies of his that I just really, really, really liked. I'm trying to think of any of them that I was like, oh, yeah, Kevin Costner. Wait, was he in Dragonheart?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, Dragonheart.
I had all of the toys.
Dragonheart was pretty
like
cool.
Every toy.
Dragonheart was really cool. I'm trying to think of anything else.
He did Wyatt Earp, but it was overshadowed by Tombstone real hard.
Yeah, because Tombstone was way better.
Movie-wise, sure, but like what actually went down.
Well, yeah, but like movie-wise is all you need, dude. Of course, that's what we're talking about. It was a better movie.
How can you go against Sam Elliott and Kurt Russell, right?
You can't. And Val Kilmer? Yeah. Like, come on, trifecta extraordinaire. I will be your Huckleberry.
You got Billy Zane. You have Lois Lane.
Bill Paxton.
Charlton Heston is in that movie.
Dude.
The dude Stephen Lang from Avatar is in it.
And Thomas Hayden Church, because you remember Wings.
Yeah. Michael Bean is in it.
Michael Bean?
Yeah, dude, he's Johnny
that's right.
Ringo.
He is Johnny Ringo.
He has a big old mustache hiding his
I gotta
face.
go watch Tombstone again. That
Who's
movie's
the
so good.
Who's the dude that plays Curly Bill? He has that
what's
voice.
his name? Powers Booth?
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, I need to watch Tombstone. Like that. I haven't seen that movie in so long. That I need to like double feature Tombstone and Quick and the Dead. And Quick and the Dead's fun.
No, you only need to do half of that.
Or like so, Logan, one of our viewers, he's not on right now, but he just rewatched Maverick recently, and like fun. I haven't watched a good fun Western in a long time.
Watch Open Range.
Or Bone Tomahawk. You guys ever watch Bone Tomahawk?
I haven't. I know.
You can't watch Bone Tomahawk. But speaking of Kurt Russell and Westerns, like, I think Kurt Russell older Kurt Russell and Western, just Kurt Russell. Can we just have more Kurt Russell movies? Like, please, just give him a gun and a mustache and like my hero. Sign me up. Vince says, "Oh my God, LOL. Jake would love Bone Tomahawk."
It's creepy, right? Isn't it
No,
super creepy?
No, it's a wholesome family western.
Sure. Well, the box art and the description on the back made it look real creepy. So.
Wholesome family western.
I bet.
You just buckle up. And John Dalton says, "I want to rewatch Ghost Town. I want to rewatch Ghost Dog."
With Forrest Whitaker?
Yeah, you ever watch Ghost Dog?
Yeah, a long
or
time
Ghost
ago.
Ship? Or movies with Ghost in the title, Ghost Rider, Ghost. I want to rewatch Ghost.
Do that, Swayze.
I don't want to rewatch Ghost. I don't like that. No, Whoopi Goldberg was the coolest part of that movie. She was the medium with the quarter.
Dude, Swayze's in a movie.
Swayze, of course, that's without question. Now I want to watch like Swayze movies.
Dude, Roadhouse was on when I was at the bar the other day. Wow. If I'm working as bouncer and Roadhouse comes on, you better not mess up, man.
Ghost in the Darkness, Ghost of Mars. Dude, Roadhouse. Well, and speaking of Swayze movies, it's Pride Month. Tu Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar. That's a great Swayze movie, and it's thematically relevant.
Is that something that people would be okay with?
Dude, that's a great movie.
Oh, just double feature that in Tootsie.
I don't know about Tootsie. Tootsie's not a great movie. It's an okay movie. But Tu Wong Fu, that is a great movie. If you've never seen it, boom, check it out. It's a good one.
Wesley Snipes in a dress.
Yeah, and John Leguizamo, like doing the role he was born to play. It wasn't the guy in
Sid
Spawn
from Ice Age,
or the clown from Spawn, but no, it was in Tu Wong Fu. Like he crushed that. Oh man, that movie's so good. I think I gotta watch that. Anyway, all right.
Anyway,
a lot of stuff going on. What else in the news going on that I was going to mention? I think we covered a lot of it since we didn't have a movie to review.
Yeah, we did.
Oh yeah, talk about your movie. I was going to say Red Sonja. They're casting a Red Sonja remake.
I thought they had already cast Red Sonja.
They are casting more people into Jamie Alexander has been added to that cast. So Vince says Priscilla Queen of the Desert just had an anniversary. And again, Priscilla Queen of the Desert, again, a really fun, awesome movie that is relevant for Pride Month if you guys are...
I want to see what they're going to do with Conan before they start talking any more nonsense about Red Sonja. Because I need to have Conan the King. It needs to be made.
It's never going to happen.
It's going to happen. I need triplets, Conan the King. It's going to happen.
I'm the king of Aquilonia.
Yeah. That's what Aquilonian accent sound like, too.
I'm from Aquilonia.
It's the Maria in Aquilonia. Yeah.
Looking for towers like this.
Yeah. 2 snakes, black suns.
Riddle of Steel.
Yeah. Perfect. So I watched the new Paramount. That's just someone like, what in the chat? Because
no, talking about that was an older comment. That was an older comment.
So I watched the new Paramount Plus exclusive movie for them, Infinite.
Oh, that's the Mark Wahlberg movie.
It's the Marky Mark
That
movie.
is. I wished I'd known how to add it to the title. I didn't know. I didn't know. You didn't give me a heads up.
I did.
When?
Right before we started.
Yeah, we had already programmed that in the computer.
Y'all were in there talking. It don't matter.
All
The
right.
point is, things that don't matter, infinite. There you go. That's your review in a word. So to watch the movie, I signed up for Paramount Plus. I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll get Paramount
How
Plus.
much was it for a month?
They have several different plans.
Of course they do.
So you can pay for like the $5 a month where you have commercials, or you can pay the $10 a month where you don't have commercials. And
One of them Hulu things.
and you get
God.
like live CBS local station that does have commercials, but it's the only way to access your local CBS station. And then in addition to that, you can save more money on either plan by doing the
switching
yearly.
to Geico.
No, by doing the yearly. So if you do the $10 a
give
month
'em-
yearly plan, it's
you
$100.
pay up front?
Yeah.
God.
So the big package on it's $100, and what that gets you is not much. You get this.
You
one,
get infinite.
Yeah, you get this one original movie and not much else. But I decided, I was like, I'll get it. I'll sign up for it. I like Star Trek. Paramount has Star Trek. I like Comedy Central. Paramount has Comedy Central. And I'll watch some of these original movies. So I was like, I'll be able to watch South Park, Reno, Star Trek, and movies and stuff
And
like
you've
that.
already done all that
And
by
then,
now.
and then whatever else. And one thing was that it has Smithsonian Channel. I was like, oh, nice.
Oh, boring.
Smithsonian Channel.
Cool.
Cool. Turns out it's really boring. There wasn't
Duh.
anything.
Did no one ever wheel a cart with a TV in when you were in
Oh, dude,
junior high?
documentaries are like my favorite, dude. I like educational stuff.
I can't,
more
but
than
like some of
anything.
them are really boring, like History Channel stuff. Like I don't
Oh,
know
no.
who does their production with all their like dumb reenactments.
No,
Like,
it
get out of
depends.
here, dude.
There's things that can be really exciting, but the hard part about Paramount Plus is that it doesn't have. You can't add to a list. You don't have a list or a queue or anything where you can add something. You have to search and find it every time you want to, and their search feature sucks.
It's kind of like early Amazon Prime. I mean, Amazon Prime is still like not on top of their game in terms of navigating, but it's gotten so much better.
I like Amazon, and their recommended stuff is good for me.
They're
I
out. Yeah,
I like that.
Their recommended algorithm has gotten a lot
And
better, but it
their-
used to be terrible to try and navigate.
Well, they're pause screens where you can see who the actors in every scene and the music playing. all that stuff.
X-ray
Yeah,
feature?
that's super cool. But Paramount Plus doesn't have any of it. Paramount Plus has like their little hubs, kind of like HBO does.
Paramount Plus has let's hurry up and try and make money.
Exactly.
That's what they're trying to do.
And you can watch MTV, Comedy Central, Nickelodeon, Smithsonian, or just movies or TV, right? There's not a good search system because I was like, well, I'll watch Star Trek 6 because it's the best one. See how that plays. What if it's upscaled in any way, or if it's presented in 1080, what it looks like, how it sounds. I'm going to watch one of my favorite movies that's right here. It's available there. It's one of the things they're really pushing hard on this. Finding the movie was difficult. I did find it, and it was presented well. I didn't have any buffer issues or problems or anything like that. But finding it was awful. The interface was terrible. Searching for it was bad. I had to go in and manually scroll through movies by alphabet, which was not fun. And then you can't add to your queue, so it's like if I wanted to back out or do anything like that, no foreign films. But
Filter by up and comers.
so it was pretty awful. And to find their originals, there's not like a section for original movies or anything like that. It was under popular, which they deemed were the popular movies, which was a bunch of garbage and nonsense. And then that movie. So
how was the movie?
I watched Infinite.
Sounds like you had a
It's-
lot more to say about trying to watch Infinite than watching Infinite.
It's pretty basic, man. It definitely feels like something where they're trying to open up a world or leave it open to possibilities, spin-offs, anything there. And they never have to cast the same actor twice or anything like this because they're infinites. They can kill them off. They can bring them back, anything like that. The hard part is they don't explain anything, and they just threw a bunch of ideas at a board and saw what stuck and ran with it. Like they have superpowers, but only one of them has ever had superpowers before, and that was the guy that Mark Wahlberg was in his last life, which was that Dylan whatever kid who's in some of those action movies like Maze Runner and stuff sometimes. And he doesn't, he's the only person that doesn't know who he is, so he has to relearn who he is and relearn how to gain superpowers, and those superpowers come into play one time ever only.
Did you watch Old Guard, which came out last year?
No, you did, and you talked about it.
Sounds very similar.
But instead of living forever, they're reincarnated.
Okay.
So their body dies and they become a new person, new ethnicity, new religion,
just a new
part of the globe.
Yeah, you're reincarnated.
Yeah, reincarnated someone else entirely. But that opens it up to far too many plot holes because they do the superpower thing, which isn't really anything worth noting at all ever.
It's like Mystery Man.
Yeah, they show 3 people all die at the beginning, and when they're brought back, they're different ages. But they all died
in the same time period?
Yeah, they all died at the same time in the 80s, and they were all coming back as adults in the now. And
but
Mark
Wahlberg
was 20 some odd years older than the girl that was
maybe she died
killed
again.
in the same event.
Maybe she died again. Maybe there was like a hiccup where she got born and then she...
How's Mark Wahlberg going to die in the 80s and then be alive in 2020 and be
No, well, maybe
Mark
one
Wahlberg?
of them, we just missed a hiccup. One of their hiccups.
So there's a lot
and
of
like,
things.
oops, died again.
There's a lot of things like that.
Start over.
Every character gets killed. Big spoiler. People that can die repeatedly. But the plot is that there's one of these guys, and he figured out a way to make it where no one will ever live again, ever.
The Kurgan.
Yeah, well, he's going to kill all life on the planet with a bioweapon.
Kurgan.
Worse, every piece of life, every cell...
Why would you want to do that?
...would be eliminated.
But why, dude?
Exactly.
But why? I mean, if you're going to be a bad guy, I mean, like, okay, I get it. Some people just want to watch the world burn. But, like, if you hate the world that much, why would you kill everything in it and not yourself?
So that he would never be reborn.
So I just... Okay.
So his thing is that every time he's born, his brain is active from the moment
So he's just really... this is an elaborate suicide plot.
Yeah.
Okay.
His brain is active from the moment of... cells of mitosis. So as soon as...
Yo, dude, I don't know. You need to call your senator about that.
Yeah, it's some real... It's some weird religion stuff here because he's about God and everything too. And the idea that his brain begins at conception probably is going to lend ammo to whoever. It's weird. So if you get into it...
It's when you get your superpower.
Yeah, so when you get into it, it's people, the normal ones who are sane and want to preserve the world and better everybody, they realize themselves as children are usually around 14. But this particular guy, every time he dies, he's alive
like
instantly, and his brain's active.
Evil fetus.
Yeah, his brain's active for 9 months, so he wants to destroy all life on Earth. So that he'll never be reborn again ever.
So he never has to be a fetus again. It's like, I'm so tired of eating baby food.
So
I'm just gonna burn the world.
He's one guy, and he has this like death cult, which it doesn't explain why.
So does he come out of the womb like being like, all right,
you don't know,
motherfuckers?
Yeah, basically. Yeah, I mean, according to what he says, yes, but you never get to see. But he has like a death cult, and the whole thing is that why
would anybody follow that?
They go along with it, yeah.
Yeah, dude, this is rad. I totally believe it.
The idea is that they're the anarchist, and they're all part of this where they don't want to be reborn anymore either. But none of them have faces. They all wear black, full-on SWAT gear.
Death Eaters.
Yeah, so there's one of them that gets a face. Like him and one lady henchman get a face, and everyone else is just faceless fodder.
Well, yeah.
Whereas all of the good guys get to be a character.
Well, that's a pretty common trope, you know, because when you kill them...
Only 2 bad guys? I mean, come on.
Well, then they don't have to develop those characters. You don't want to.
They didn't develop the good guys.
Well, I mean, yeah. But
They
they're
kill
good.
all of them instantly.
Well, it makes you feel bad.
No, it
when
doesn't.
bad guys have a face and then you kill them, you're like, well, that's a person.
No,
And
it doesn't matter. 'Cause
That's
they're
why
all going to be reborn. It doesn't matter.
That's why all of Cobra troops have masks and GI Joes
Anyhow,
don't.
That's
why everybody
basic dumb action movie,
Yeah.
worse than both of the GI Joes. It has bad CGI
like
in
foot
it.
soldiers.
Nothing
Yeah.
but plot holes, and it's dumb. It's
What?
yeah.
No.
It was not.
No.
It was not worth
But
the
did your mother
free
like
trial. Yeah, it was not worth the free trial to watch this movie. And
Not even Mark Wahlberg?
no, and with the amount of disappointment that Paramount Plus was, I am just going to cancel within the free trial because I'm not going to pay money for this.
No.
It was it's not worth South
Come
Park.
on, Jake, give it another chance.
It's not worth South Park to do it because I can watch Star Trek other ways. And I've already seen all of it anyhow, so
Well,
there's really nothing there for me except for the enticement of Smithsonian, which just isn't enough to pay for another streaming service.
streaming service. You and your streaming. At least one of us is willing to pay and try that stuff out. I'm just the curmudgeon. It's like, not on my lawn. Just get out of here with your subscription services. Scram. Anyway, Event says, I was planning to watch it with a nice, juicy Wahlburger.
Oh,
Man,
that's a good idea. Yeah,
a Wahlburger.
buy one for your mother.
We'll take one home. How's she doing?
Yeah.
Anyway, Sam's over there like more like Paramount Minus. These streaming services, we're only going to see more of them, guys. Like it's a part of our life now, and the only way that we can rebel is by
They definitely
just don't look.
They
You remember
definitely
that
need to
episode of The
improve.
Simpsons?
I don't know why they think that any of that interface works out. And I tried this on PC and Xbox, so it's not like I just tried one way
Platform,
of
yeah.
doing it, or mobile or something like that. I tried it on two of the most accessible devices for it, and it was not really working out.
Well,
No part of it was enjoyable. I did watch some of the old Comedy Central Presents.
stand-up shows?
Yeah, stand up. Like I watched Zach Galifianakis and
Back when he used to play piano?
and
Those were funny. He
Nick
used to be funny.
Swardson and stuff like that. Yeah, things that I remember.
You do love some Nick Swardson.
Nick Swardson's really funny. But so that's kind of cool to be able to go back in a time capsule and see that. But without being able to add it, you have to search it every time, and it's just not worth it again.
Vince chimes in, and I totally agree. He says everyone agrees that Netflix auto-playing trailers as you scroll is horrible. Why do they still have that? I think you can turn that off now. I think that's deep dive in the settings. But man, that sucks because you always have to
especially if
hop
you're
over
trying
to the search bar just to stop.
Yeah, or
stop.
if you're trying to watch the credits or
and it always wants to
it's like, well, here's a little bit of credits, but check out this other thing on Netflix.
It's going to start in 3, 2, and no, I'm not done. Maybe the song was a jammer. Maybe I wanted to watch the credits. Just let it finish, dude. Chill. Anyway, not Alice. She said, "Amen. Turn that off as soon as possible." And and Vince says there's always the movies that you want to see the trailer. You're like, oh, I kind of want to just see it, and then it never has it. It's always the shit you don't want to see. But anyway, all right. Well, you got anything else? We're pretty much out of time.
That's it, man.
That is our time.
That's it.
9 o'clock. We're beep 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 beep. I guess that's the alarm. Yeah.
Next week we'll both go watch Hitman's Bodyguard wife. Hitman's wife's bodyguard.
Bodyguard's wife. Hitman. Ip Man 4, the body wife guard.
I'll watch Hitman 4. I own Hitman 4. We can watch that if you want to.
Yeah, it's a good movie. Anyway, all right. Well, thanks for tuning in, you guys. Always make sure to like and subscribe and to share it. If you want to check out the audio version of this podcast, you can get it wherever you get your podcasts. Just search for the Drive-in Speakerbox. Don't forget the hyphen. And we are on the Facebook, the Twitch, and the YouTube. You can check out those channels. You can watch older episodes, or you can join us live every Monday night at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. Get in this chat that you see over here on the corner of your screen. And thanks for everybody for tuning in and chatting. We always love hearing from you guys. And I guess that's it. I'm your host, the Boom Operator.
I'm the Grip.
And we'll see you guys next week. Bye. Bye now. Goodbye.